These are very interesting times for world hockey. Remember, each and every continent is gearing up for the Paris Olympics that will begin in July. India and Indian hockey, on the other hand, they are preparing for the Asian Champions Trophy as well as for the Asian Games. Remember, if they win the Asian Games, they go directly to the Paris Olympics. But in this sport of hockey, one major change is about to happen. And if it is successful at the grassroots level in several tournaments, then it could be implemented after the Paris Olympics of 2024. Penalty corners, drag flickers, this has added a new dimension when it comes to hockey. Now, with this new rule that the FIH are planning to introduce, maybe penalty corners and drag flickers, it could change the entire dimension of the sport. So what exactly is the FIH planning to do in order to bring about the safety aspect in hockey, reduce the time taken for penalty corners, as well as ensure player safety is paramount? So, the FIH are proposing a new rule for penalty corners, and in that, the rule is in place for reducing the risk of injury to defenders from a drag flick. Now, what is going to be the new rule when it comes to the penalty corners? I just want to show you all this particular situation. The current penalty corners, this graphics, by the way, which the Indian Express has done, it's a brilliant explainer on how this particular penalty corner as well as the proposed rule is going to happen. Now, just remember this particular thing and then I'll explain to you what is the change in the penalty corner. So, the new rule is, when it comes to penalty corners, all attackers except the pusher at the back line must start at least 5 meters outside the striking circle called the D. This is the D when you look at a penalty corner and when you look at it in hockey. This is the D, and all attackers except the pusher at the back line must start at least 5 meters outside of the striking circle called the D. So, in a sense, they might be starting from the halfway stage itself. The ball must travel outside the 5-meter dotted line, which is beyond the D, before it can be played back into the D for a shot on goal. So, the trial what has been proposed is that when a penalty corner specialist, he decides to hit the ball, there will be one player inside of the D, but he'll have to hit it outside of the D, which is the dotted line. So, this is the dotted line here. Only after that, they can take the penalty corner. But what is the existing rule? The existing rule is the attacking side starts at the edge of the D, pusher pushes the ball, which has to be stopped just outside before a shot can be taken at goal, either a hit or a drag flick. This is the current situation. You see that the player is there, he hits the ball, the player is, all the players are there within the D, and then they either drag flick it or have a direct shot at goal. Now, this trial will change this dynamic because it will reduce the risk of injury to the defenders who charge. Now, remember, defenders nowadays are given protective gear as well, but despite that, it has been found out by the FIH that defenders still have a high risk of injury, and that is why they are going to trial this new rule which is there. Now, why the proposed changes? Reduce the danger by removing the direct shot, and therefore no need for defenders to run towards the attacker. This is the reason. Either they can stay in one position and then they can defend it, or they minimize injury. Removing the need for protective gear and speeding up the game. Remember, this is the most important aspect, speeding up the game by reducing the time from 40 seconds to 20 seconds. Penalty corners can often take some time. You'll have to check, there is a referral, then you have to be at that position, and then all this takes about 40 seconds added time also, that makes the game slow rather. Now, with this new rule, they propose to reduce the time to 20 seconds. How did this new rule change come about and how was it deliberated? Because this all began last year in 2022 when the FIH had a project titled Future of the Penalty Corner. In that, they suggested the changes in order to minimize the chances of fatal or serious injuries. Drag flicks, remember, the distance from the goal to the edge of the D where they do the drag flicks, which is about 10 to 12 meters. Sometimes when they strike the ball, it can travel at a speed of 150 kmph. And if it hits a player and that player does not have a protective gear in the right spot, it can lead to serious or fatal injuries. And that is the reason why FIH had this project, the future of the penalty corner. There is a mixed response from all the players in particular, but if this new rule comes up after the Paris Olympics in 2024, it could mean the end of one particular point in hockey which players have excelled in, and that is the drag flick. Harmanpreet Singh, the India captain and one of the best drag flickers in the world currently, he has expressed his reservations on it, because if you look at the visual here, currently you have to drag flick it and you have to have at immense speed to ensure that you can get the penalty. But here there is no drag flick. Either it's a direct shot at the goal, and you see in all these penalty shootouts how it is. Rarely there is a drag flick. It is kind of a straight shot at goal. So maybe with this new rule, Harmanpreet Singh is saying that it could be the end of drag flickers. This could be a major blow, and it could change the entire dimension of hockey if this new trial is implemented after the Paris Olympics of 2024. So this is the current changes that are there in hockey which has been proposed, and it has been trialed at some grassroots levels on some tournaments which is there. Remember, the ACT, maybe it might not be trialed in that. It could be trialed in the Oceania qualifiers, it could be trialed in the European qualifiers, it could be trialed there as well. Only after the results of that, the data collected, will there be an implementation of this after Paris Olympics 2024. What do you think about this? Should the sport of hockey be changed when you look at the penalty corners? Should it remain the same, or do you think change is necessary? Thank you so much, folks, for joining us for this video. We'll be back with more updates on sports today. Tap that bell icon so you know when we go live, and don't forget we are on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. Thank you.